every team that's here so far really deserves to be here. And yeah,
Yeah.
taking a look at the
So,
draft,
yeah,
Slap
let's
did
get
ban out
into it
Monarch,
here.
follows it up with Scrap, Ophelia Warbeast from Dewey, also known as Punk Pang, and into a Snap Pick Tundra Midas, followed up by South Forest.
Okay.
Knowing the NAU teams, I actually even talked to the Thai teams. I think there are 3 heroes, maybe even 4, but I'd say the Trinity right now, Holy Trinity of heroes, is Tundra, South Forest, and Ophelia. These are the heroes that they're valuing the highest, and at this point, it's like no surprise. I'd say the 4th hero is potentially Warbeast, because they also have... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You can finish my sentence for me.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's clear. There's a certain set of heroes that are favorited by almost every team here, and yeah, Warbeast is one of them here. Also worth noting, this definitely is a game that means business to Sync. They start out banning the Monarch and the Scrap, just like the last one here.
Yep, and so here we see they go with this Midas Deadwood. This is a combination of heroes that I really like, and I'm sorry, I'm super distracted by the background music, but they follow it up with Silhouette, which is a good pick here. There's no really instant catch for that Silhouette. However, Silhouette, so far, from what I've seen, has only won 1 game, and it's been picked like 5 times. And considering that there hasn't really been that many games played, that's not a good result. Like, that's not a good look for Silhouette.
Right. I mean, yeah, she had her plays last year, and there was a lot of impressive stuff with split pushing, but we've definitely seen things turn more towards team fights.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Silhouette, while she's great, she's mobile, she does a lot of damage, it's purely single target. And what she's best at is split pushing, so I don't think she has the same effect that she had last year. But I don't know that we've seen MRR play her yet, and in the right situation. I mean, even Hackstrom played her so far, right?
Yeah, but honestly, if anyone... I mean, I feel like this actually comes back to, you know, there's no Flensmeister at this event. There isn't that split push god, but I feel like if anyone could maybe follow in his shoes, that would be Punk Pang, right?
Hey,
he's got the skill,
something
he's got the
to see
knowledge.
here. So.
Yeah. He's a very, very solid player, to say the least. And looking at the bans, Slap goes for Ravener and Vindicator, really targeting those top-tier Thai picks. They got beat by Ravener earlier, showing respect to that hero, banning him out. I don't know if you'd see him here. It could be that they're afraid of a long-lane tri-lane with Deadwood, Ravener, +1, which we've seen in, I believe it was the first game, being played out by D-Dog that time. So bans that out, bans out the Vindicator. To me, that's a hint that maybe they're going for this kind of, Dr. Repulsor pick.
Parallax, maybe.
Yeah, because the Thai teams really like to let Dr. Repulsor initiate, and then they Vindy ult. And then it's like, oh, you want to die? Cool. You're right here. So, showing some signs there.
But just the fact that Slap banning out all of these hard carries when there's already a Silhouette, it shows, you know, he knows that it's almost to be expected now. You're not going to see a single carry game.
No, right? I mean, I feel like every single one of those bans that Slap did was really spot on. They could have all hit his hero. And they followed up with the Pebbles, so I feel like they haven't quite picked up yet on the potential Dr. Repulsor pick.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. It could.
And
definitely be in there.
Kinesis being right-clicked. I know Mickey loves playing this hero. And honestly, in this game, if they are able to win the laning phase, they're in such a fantastic position to just snowball this game and take it over. So, I like this pick. Yeah, there we go. Wow. They're going to pick that Kinesis. They have a very strong lane setup so far.
Well, we got to see a sneak peek at what Mickey can do on Kinesis yesterday, if you remember here.
Oh, yeah.
If this team plays around him, I wasn't sure if they were going to save it. We saw it in the scrim. I wasn't sure if they were going to save it for another one, but they're definitely going to give it a shot here. Maybe in the bracket stages, they still got some other tricks up their sleeve. We are going to see Moira picked up here by the Hellborn team. Is one of those, one of those support heroes that's not picked as often as she used to be, but really is still a phenomenal support. I mean, we see Boxer. Mid-support player Boxer. Oh my god, what he does with this hero, it's like, who is, You're
thinking about a Moira God?
Moira God, yeah. Okay, you had a pretty great Moira, and it was so close. I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything, but the old Complexity support player.
Resher?
Yes, Resher. I mean, for different reasons, but his Arcane Vortexes were always, like, crazy.
Hey. And I'm pretty sure the chat stands with me. When it comes to Moira, there's only one guy you can compare to me. And it's a guy named Lol Faggot. I apologize for the name. But that's the guy that actually got me into the hero. He was like, dude, Moira's insane. You need to start picking this. And as soon as we came back from Thailand, I actually grinded, like, no joke, almost like 200 or 300 Moira games, just straight up.
That's dedication.
Yeah, and then the rest of the scene slowly started picking it up, and yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for that hero being popular on the competitive scene. A name that I don't think ever has been mentioned before, but he actually is playing competitive Heroes of the Storm right now. He goes by Schwimpy nowadays. Actually, I'm so sad that he didn't come up with that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to him. He's the guy that really made Moira pop up on the scene by influencing yours truly.
Yeah. Rescher's still best Moira, but very close second. And for different reasons.
You Americans say that I'm biased for Sync. I feel like you guys are so biased for your own players.
I didn't know that he was American. He could have been Peruvian or Bolivian or Brazilian. You never know. Complexity always has one to keep the the fairness in there.
What do you mean? Bolivia's America, South America,
okay.
North America. See, now you're being all USA, not understanding how the map works.
I'm a man of the world. Okay, I have no bias.
I just noticed that. But Legionnaire gonna wrap up this draft from MRR. God dang it. I was so happy that I hadn't made that mistake, and you guys are all making it, and I was so proud of myself. You did it twice.
That's your counting here.
Yeah, Breaky did it once.
It's more of like, though, I'm talking like really fast. Okay, some of the times. It's like hits a speed bump. But this is the second time we've seen Legionnaire in this tournament, actually.
But
he was picked up early.
But look at that draft. Have you ever seen that draft before? Yes.
This draft?
Yeah.
Hellborn
the
team?
tag is just wrong. That should say Sync, Slap on the Legionnaire, Insane on Moira, Flensmeister on Silhouette. Tell me you haven't seen this before. Mickey, Deadwood, Keizu, Midas.
I don't think I have, and I honestly, if that's a Sync, I don't think it was the better draft. I'm not very impressed by this Hellborn draft, to be honest. I see, yeah, there's a little synergy between the Midas and the Legionnaire, but again, the only source of real damage they have is the Silhouette, and they've got many targets to worry about over here.
I think I'm done casting.
Yeah?
You're not respecting the goat.
It's you of all people know that discussion is the most important thing.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about what you're saying.
I could say and agree with you all day, but just to make you smile, I like to see you smile. But there's some things, I have an opinion on certain things.
I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Have feelings too. Okay?
You're right about what you're saying. In this game, I feel like Sync Esports are putting a lot of emphasis on the laning phase. And I was going to say, if that is a Sync draft, the draft that Sync's running with looks like an ECX draft. And what team put up the most competition against Sync last year, if not ECX, right? They were the team that we were struggling with the most. So this kind of a lineup that Sync has gone for, I feel is very good against what MRR are bringing to the table. Like you mentioned, they only have that Silhouette really for damage, and it's all relying on a very high-paced, high-octane catch, gank, teamfighty game where MRR are going to take the game to Sync and really bring the aggression, and that's great, right?
Yeah.
But they got two heroes that are fantastic against it. Tundra with a Shiver, and Andromeda with a Swap.
Yeah, so those saves there, and absolutely, and it's a very un-Asian draft for MRR.
Oh yeah.
And maybe Sync didn't expect this. But I think they're still prepared, honestly. Their draft, I think, will do fine. Like you said, the Shiver is such a precious commodity lately here to be able to get that now instead of the War Beast.
Yeah, they kind of fill a similar role where the Shiver allows them to make these ganks with the bird. So I really like this pickup. The difference really between Tundra and War Beast is that Tundra kind of brings a little bit more gank, whereas War Beast provides that late game and kind of split push action.
Yeah, you can push things. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a bit low, but
yeah.
Now you're good.
And
nope, and you're gone.
Well, we have a disconnect here anyway, so maybe go to just a short break here for a moment. Or maybe
not.
I can hear you. Yeah, you can just.
Or I could just talk about stuff. Yeah. So you guys know Matthew, kind of a 1700 scrubs. If anyone out there in the chat is offering coaching lessons, if you want to make $1 or $2, Matthew right here is definitely looking for some lessons. Help him out. Be a friend. He's been poking me about him, but you know, making fun of me on stream, calling other people the best Moira in the world. I don't know if I can coach him after that. So if anyone in the chat feels like you want to make $1 or $2, make sure to hit up Matthew. That actually rhymed, not intentional. I think at least. Cheeto One gonna reconnect to the game, and still waiting for Matthew's mic to be fixed, so I'm gonna keep trolling him as much as I can. And the GLHFs being called out. Axerin responds with the immediate insult to Slap. You guys can't see it, but I can, because I have the profanity filter off. And the snap, come back from Axerin, the tie insult, I mean from Slap to Axerin, the tie insult right there. And there's some fun chatting going on. But alright, let's talk about the draft. So, like I said, D-Dog, MRR, I apologize, it's late. MRR, they need to play aggressive in this game, and for them, this is really a game of applying the pressure, taking the game to Sync. Don't let Sync just sit back and farm. And I remember when I was still playing, Self-Force wasn't that popular of a hero pick because when you went up against stuff like this, it was very hard to have good impact. And there's just so much lockdown and so much control on MRR's side that a hero like Self-Force isn't like able to kite around on the team fights and really has to stay back and struggles to output damage. So I'm very interested to see how they do that. Another thing that I like to do when we were playing this kind of lineups to Sync was, we always had, if Mickey goes in with the Deadwood, you want to keep the Legionnaire waiting out. Midas and Moira are almost always the immediate follow-up with Silhouette as she pleases. So you really have that 4-man, which are pretty strict on how they need to play, where if the Deadwood goes in first, you have Legionnaire sitting out and waiting and getting that counter initiation, or if Legionnaire jumps in first, you have Deadwood sitting out, and Midas, Moira are almost always the immediate follow-up.
Yeah, I love it when a team has multiple choices on who they bring in first, so much more than just a single initiator, because it becomes predictable.
Yeah.
The whole team can plan out the team fight in a 30-second pause and understand, exactly what they're up against and make it very easy for Sync to predict them.
Right.
But in this case, it's going to be tricky. You really never know what order they come at you. Ideally, I think the Legionnaire taunt into a nice rotten grasp is like very powerful, but they're the same way.
Yeah, and I think one of the big strengths of this lineup from MRR is that they can really control the map. They have so many heroes that the combination of them can get kills. Oh, Moira's actually going to spot out the Shiver, but unable to kill it fully with those nerf shards of Archon, only dealing 70 damage. So yeah, unfortunate there. Actually sending Mickey up here in the top lane, but look at this. Serenia once again going to sneak up into the top lane. Leaf, though, has that lane work down, and this is actually pretty smart from Sync. I remember way back in the day, PPD liked to do this a lot, where he went into the offlane and helped Moon Meander really take off.
Yeah, this is the second time we're seeing them do it, and the third time of any of the teams today that they brought their support up to assist the offlaner for just a little bit, or as long as needed. As in the middle lane, it is going to be Tundra versus Deadwood. Again, the same similar melee versus melee matchup here. Zibe should be doing just fine.
Yeah, instead of pushing out the lane, then following it up with a charge straight onto the Deadwood, getting some nice harassment, but Deadwood has that pooled region. Doubt he's really going to be zoned out of this lane.
Yeah, but it's still no problem actually just burning through it. I love actually using Cold Shoulder and a melee versus melee matchup, because you sometimes you get those couple extra hits in, especially if they're right about to go for a last hit and they kind of just I should have just
So, in the old school days, Tundra was considered one of these, like, if you send a melee hero up against him in mid, he's going to crush you. So it's going to be interesting. Do you think, like, he can do it, even with a pooled region? I feel like if he didn't have that pooled region on the Deadwood, this is definitely a lane where Tundra could just keep charging onto him, using that pet to zone him out from creep kills, and really win that lane. But that health potion, I feel, is huge here.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get him low enough for, like, a Self-Force rotation to finish him off, I definitely think it might have been a possibility. But at the same time, I mean, Deadwood also, with the Oak Bolt, he does a lot of damage himself. The main thing here is Chidowan went boots first.
Yeah.
So
did Zibe, though. Keep that in mind.
Okay, and
South
speaking of that, Hasted Rune on Self-Force. Deadwood's Rotten Grass will connect on the Tundra. He's going to have to decide to man up here. Fortunately, not enough damage to do so, and Slap will take credit for that, of course.
Yeah, and Sync, I feel like they've got their groove going up in the top lane. Punkbang is going to get caught. Nice lift from Mickey, but is it enough? Yes, the last auto attack from Serenia is going to secure that kill. Mickey actually had one in the air. Moira nowhere to be found with that counter initiation.
Yeah, she was off down here. Even Legionnaire was pretty close by. Now Andromeda's going to drop the Comet Stun off on a Moira. Very low health at this point. All she's sitting on is a single minor totem, but Legionnaire will come in to assist. The Shards of Heart are going to lock her down. He got the taunt off as he just hit level 3, so he'll get the kill onto Serenia, and a nice little turn. Now Kinesis, he knows what he's doing.
You see that? He just stole the big creep in that
Oh,
hard
did he?
camp. So
Wow.
huge play from Mickey there. Gonna just run in there, steal some farm from his Legionnaire. But I think, like I said, what really makes this MRR draft effective is if they can set the pressure, if they can set the game pace, if they really move around the map and set up those plays. But if Sync is keeping this dual lane up top, they're forcing the Moira to stay in this lane. And when that's the case, they can't apply that pressure, and the lineup loses a lot of its firepower.
Yep, and as you speak about the rotations, they're going to jump down there on the Midas now. Puppet Master with those dual CC abilities off to his own takes Midas down to about 30% of his health. He's found a nice little spot in the trees, and he has Elemental Warp up whenever he's ready. He was waiting for the right moment. He's got to be careful. The Morse does connect to get him down. The Shards of Harkon will be enough to keep him alive. That Puppet auto attack takes him down to 40.
But it's not quite enough to get the kill. And look at Hax, he was so low. If Moira was just able to get off maybe that ephemeral forge and then stunning and then dropping some auto attacks, could have gotten that kill, but
it's not you, so what do you expect? I mean,
hey, I didn't want to say it, but up top we see 2 heroes going to go for that top rune. It's going to be secured by Legionnaire. It is an illusion rune. That is one of the better runes you can get on Legionnaire.
obviously a little bit reduced damage, but they can still proc spins, right?
Yeah, they can, and that's why it's so great. You can send one to the small camp, and usually they'll clean it out on their own, so looks like he's just going to use them all together to farm a bit faster, but
yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to waste any regen, though. He is on a bottle,
yeah.
So yeah.
He's already at level 4. I mean, honestly, he's not doing too hot. He has 1 kill, and it's only at 260 GPM, so I guess he's like trying to post pretty close to the top lane, help out Punk Pang as much as possible. But this is really not how they want to play their draft out. They want to be the aggressors. They want to be the team setting the pace, but right now they're just not.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but I think, you know, with time, they will have more tools available to them. Deadwood now just hitting level 6. You know, Midas is at that point where he's almost got the chalice. Maybe he picks up a bottle soon. He can make rotations happen.
As top lane, Serena's going to get caught a bit as a nice trade back and forth. And look at this man up. Oh my god, that was so close. They almost got that kill, but they're going to get a turn kill on Serenia, so just slightly overestimating how much damage they could output, and it's going to result in the kill in favor of MRR instead.
Yeah, a very close calculation would have told you Legionnaire's obviously going to get away with 13 HP there, but yeah, sometimes you just got to go on and wing it.
Yeah, and now mid, Tundra's level 6, so is Deadwood, so I'm expecting something to happen here. Interesting pickup from Tundra. He has those Guardian Greaves. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, Deadwood does remove armor with his ability, correct?
Removes HP, actually.
Well,
so
yeah, the Rotten Grasp does.
Oh, you mean the armor?
Grasp.
Yeah, that's true.
Does it remove armor? Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
it
a
does,
little
it
bit.
does.
So, and, you know, one thing we talked about, the main source of damage and later stages of the game will be silhouettes. So, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with armor. Most of the time, we would have preferred post-haste.
Do you think this might be like he just doesn't want to get ganked in this lane, so he goes for those Guardian Greaves so he can just stay alive?
I mean, how much survivability do they offer compared to like a Steam Boots or something?
I think
really?
versus Deadwood in specifically, it's actually very, very cost efficient. For 1300 gold, you're getting a lot of move speed. You actually move around as fast as you do with phase boots. And that's great for dodging potential Rotten Grasps, but also on top of that, it really reduces the damage of that Deadwood punch. And like I've said so many times, they need those rotations to win this game. It's all about them getting those kills and just making sure that they don't die on lanes. I think it's
finds a kill down in the bottom lane onto Midas here, rotating all the way behind the tower. Doesn't look like
middle lane though.
MR.
Andromeda's gonna get caught. Sibe, what a huge stun on Deadwood, and now they're turning on the Legionnaire. Everybody's here.
Yeah, Legionnaire is going to get a taunt off, but he will die soon after. Will it have been enough to save the Deadwood? Puppet says not a chance, puts on the hold, and Deadwood will now fall as well. So that's going to look good there for Sync Esports. They might even continue to push it. They still got 3 heroes in the area, and yeah, Midas is realizing very quickly this is not the place he wants to be.
Yeah, and MRR are forced back. Sync are rolling right now, and we see a dive onto the Moira here. She's forced back into her tier 2 tower, and they're still going to go for it. Slap drops the spells, and this looks like it's going to be a kill.
Yeah, Legionnaire coming in with the follow-up charge, but unfortunately, for some reason, he was really slow there. Was the Coral micro by Zibe himself, making a huge difference. And yeah, when you put a couple of points into that, it is so annoying. Legionnaire moving at 100 move speed like a snail. Midas, though, hiding in the woodwork. They will punish Slapped for his greed.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, the rest of his team actually going to secure that Deadwood kill on top of the tower. So really nice plays here from Sync Esports. They're going for the classic Insania call, which is go 5 heroes into the middle lane at 8 minutes. And it's working out for them. So hey, they make fun of me for it, but look guys, you're even doing it yourselves and it's working out. As they're going for more, Moira now respawn and going to be slowed down by that curl. Healed up by Midas, but here come the shards. It's not enough, but look at that mass control.
Evaporates both heroes. Not the first time we've seen it happen here, and starting to snowball just a little bit here is Mickey.
Yeah, you know the skin is different, but for me that Mickey name is slightly just changing the letters, and I'm starting to see a B, an X. Is this boxy?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, he has
slightly just the letters starting to shift.
He's grown into this hero quite well over the past week.
Yeah, for sure, and he actually loves playing this kind of a hero where he he's the kind of player that likes to dominate his lane. He likes to have that aggressive hero where he can do that with.
Different build too than we seen last time.
Oh yeah.
Opting to max out the inherent defense and telekinetic control. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Many
now
flavors.
down bottom, it looks like a tower's gonna be denied by 070, and
you know what too. This kind of play, grouping up as 5 at 8 minutes and pushing here, completely negates the effect of a Deadwood, really.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least a lot of his ability to snowball, because he has no one to go and focus. He could be hiding out in the woods right now, except nobody's alone. The only one that looks remotely close to being alone is Puppet Master, and this is the biggest bait here. Mass Control coming out onto Midas, with just a lot of trees being dropped. Puppet Master does get caught out by a nice Rotten Grasp here, and this time it is the MRR who brings more to the party here.
Yeah, and that was the Moira presence right there. Being able to spawn behind the team as they initiate, making sure to cut off all potential escape routes. Really well done there by Leaf, and overall just a well-executed gank from MRR.
Yep, it's going to have to be a little bit longer before Moira can one-shot the Shiver with that Shards of Harkon, unfortunately. I've seen her hit it multiple times now, but it still ends up staying alive.
Yeah, and taking a glance over at the word game, you notice Serenia has 2 very aggressive lane wards placed.
Oh, indeed.
Also reminding me of a certain person sitting to your right.
Oh, yeah.
I love when teams play so I can reference to myself all the time.
Yeah. I didn't know you invented that word.
I did not
I've been placing it
invent.
for
I did not
years.
invent either of those words, but I was a big proponent of these aggressive lane wards,
Okay.
and you can ask pretty much any player in Sync, and I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing.
I do believe you.
Yeah.
There's like I said, we were talking off to the side by ourselves one day, and this game has come so far because of great players adopting things from each other and molding them into their own playstyle, picking pieces back and forth. Yeah.
Keep those compliments coming, man. I'm loving it. No, but looking at the game, I really feel like Sync could continue with some Insania style and just group up as 5, keep those plays coming, and just push their lead. Right now, they're in a fantastic position. There's no blink up on the Legionnaire, and there's no blink up on the Deadwood. Moira doesn't even have boots yet. Silhouette has nothing, and same goes for Midas. I feel like they can just really group up and just take down all these towers right now. Make sure they get the tier 1s. If they want to play slowly for the tier 2s, I could completely get behind that. But make sure you get those tier 1s, get that map control, and then start farming.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason to fear the Silhouette, even though they did just take a team fight. It was vastly outnumbered. Legionnaire not even remotely close to a portal key, so just severely lacking any kind of real initiation here. Maybe once you get the level 6, Moira, you can hope to make something happen. The Arcane Vortex is often unpredictable when trying to line up like a Legionnaire taunt or a Deadwood Grasp, but maybe soon here. Definitely not yet.
Bottom lane, Haxorin looks like they're posting up for a gank here, but look at how many heroes they need to bring down. It's going to be charged on, but look at that Puppet Show!
He switches to Silhouette at the last second before getting the taunt off.
Yeah, and Zib is going to go for that newly popular build here in Han, which is the straight puzzle box on Tundra. And it's something that I love seeing. I think it's great. The hero does so much more damage when you choose to go for this route. And I was going to bring this up. Even if they do get that great Arcane Vortex from the Moira when she hits 6, where's the damage going to come from, right? It's so hard for Legionnaire to get in there. It's so hard for Deadwood to get in there.
Yeah.
They just don't have those blinks yet. And right now, it's just such a huge opening, I feel, for Sync to just force those fights, force MRR to fight, because there's no way they can push you with these heroes. Just make them come to you, or you take their towers.
Oh yeah, yeah. The window is definitely there. I mean, Sync's kind of peeking in there right now. They realize they took top tower without any issues. They're kind of pressuring both top and mid simultaneously here.
Mid lane?
Might not be the right decision, as Deadwood, though, takes a massive amount of damage. He looks like he just wants to get that punch off before he dies. Legionnaire following with the taunt. On a touch with the decapitate, following through. Now Mickey is coming in to join the party. Legionnaire takes a lot of damage from that Kinesis. And just like that, Sync comes out with a 2-for-1 exchange once again. And they will continue to push here.
Yeah, now sitting at a 6k gold and experience lead. This is massive at this point in the game. And you can really tell if you just glance over at the items. 2 tablets of command being picked up. Second one by Slap, first one by Mickey. And this, in my eyes, just is indicating that they want to fight, right? They want these tools to allow them to kite around in these early team fights. And Tablet of the Command is one of the best items at this point in the game. And when you have 2 of them, it's so hard to really commit for any kill. And with this lineup that MRR has and the position that they're in, they really need to commit to get those kills.
Yeah, one of the things that, you never get to being an online caster, never being to an LAN event before, I've never got to see like these players play. And one thing I noticed once I saw them scrimming in real life, there is a little bit of action here. Silhouette taking heavy damage from the puppet show, and Haxorin will clean up very quickly here. They get the tower mid. Just kind of finish up what I was saying really quick. I noticed Sync does this kind of reset thing where they're like reset, 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 and then they all fall back and go back in. With tablets, they make that perfect. Right. You can bait people to chase you. You know, the tablets buy yourself a little more time, and then when you're ready, you call it, turn it, and it's something that catches teams off guard all the time. Oh, they're falling back. Let's kind of just stop thinking there's a team fight happening. You blink your eye, and they're all back in the action again.
So there's actually quite some history with that reset call. If we go back now to DreamHack Summer 2015, that's really where we learned our lesson. When we were playing against Clanks a lot, and like the upcoming time, we were like, all right, so when you're playing against Clanks, you really can't just fully commit to fights. You gotta really reset out at a certain timing. So that's when we started doing that way back in the day, and it's something that they kept doing because it's so good, and you need to have that at some point. When you've used all your abilities, you need to back out, reset, wait for your abilities to go back up again, and then you can re-engage.
Exactly, especially if you can get 1 or 2 kills, get out, and then go back in fresh, and the other team is still kind of staggered here and there. It makes all the difference, especially, these guys love portal keys. It's not uncommon to see 2 or 3, and it makes it that much easier to do this reset, jump back in with your initiator. Sorry about the camera work. Get that fixed up here. Alrighty.
Yep, down bottom, Midas is pushing this tier 1 tower, but it has so much HP, and Sync Esports very capable to just rotate down a hero there to defend, as Zib is going to use his teleportation scroll, and Midas is forced to TP out.
These tablets, too, for a second there, I'm looking, everybody gets the Nullstone on Silhouette. It's just whether or not it's useful, it seems like it's the item that you have to get on her. And in this game, I'm like, oh, it's pretty good, actually. It's going to stop a ton of stuff, but another benefit to all these tablets of command. Just another way to break the Nullstone, and I mean, these guys are all target abilities. I'd like to see multiple Nullstones in this game, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get that kind of farm, as Moira now going to spawn behind Andromeda, pops that Arcane Vortex.
Ooh, the Rotten Grass is going to be followed up. Nice timing there. Andromeda going to swap himself for that armor bonus, but it will not be enough to keep him alive here. Oh, a nice little ephemeral forge there.
And this is actually quite an opening. They only got that Andromeda kill, so shield's going to be up in 20 seconds. Interesting to see if Sync wants to use this downtime on the Arcane Vortex. Legionnaire also creeping in on his Blink Dagger, so is Deadwood. So their window here where I feel like they could have just like gone balls to the walls and pretty much like wrapped the game up is slowly closing, but they're still in a fantastic spot. They have a massive resource lead, and they have great heroes to deal with what MRR is bringing to the table at this point. Like you mentioned, the tablet to remove the Nullstone works very well with Puppet Master or Tundra for that matter. So
all of them, they're all so good at that. But I think one thing you touched on is they didn't have a ton of damage. I feel like they're still in that boat, to be honest.
MRR?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
single target maybe Deadwood Ultimate Midas is a little bit, but I feel like they don't have enough to fully wipe a team.
No, that's definitely true, and I mean that's kind of the problem with their lineup. It really heavily relies on being able to initiate on the enemy team and just blasting them. And when you're behind, just pure initiation usually isn't enough. And these heroes are not like heroes that can build into damage. Legionnaire doesn't really deal more
Sib is
damage.
getting in position over here. Sorry to cut you off, but they have the ward of sight. Oh wait, that's the least. But they're going to use the Shiver to get uphill vision on a Legionnaire. Piercing charge finishes him off, and the Rotten Grasp is for naught.
Yeah, Sib gonna TP down to bottom lane now, saving that tower. Might even get the deny here. It looks like he's playing it patient. Removes that nullstone as they initiate.
Transmute, lock and Thunder down there. RTV's coming in, but the damage is done. He did get the puzzle box out, so Silhouette's gonna be completely drained of mana. She will not be able to tree grapple out of here. And you can tell he wants to get in front to get the body block off, and that's exactly what he's doing. Mickey's got the tablet coming up here in a little bit. Will he be able to close the gap? Oh, okay. Slapped up in the top. Got killed.
Yeah, nice series of events there for MRR. They actually, 070 knocked back behind the tower as Mickey gets caught. He does lift a bunch of trees, and I think he threw them, but the Moira ultimate should have saved. Oh no, he actually kills the Moira off, and then they don't have that stun. Forcing the Deadwood back. Is Mickey actually going to turn this around? It looks like it. Deadwood is so low. Can he juke this out? Andromeda, no Aurora.
Portal
Swap.
key in 1 second. Oh! Disjoints the
Disjoints
Comet, and he is going to actually get away from it here. Yeah. I didn't even see who initially got taken into that Arcane Vortex, so I'm glad you took over there.
Yeah, so Mickey actually was brought into it. Now Haxor's down bottom. Mickey gets initiated on, but swapped out.
Andro swap here. Silhouette trying to put in a lot of damage. She swaps back in, and they finish off Haxorin now. Voodoo Puppet does nothing by itself.
Yeah, now the chase is on. Serenia's not out of this one yet. Legionnaire's going to blink in again. I think that's the third time in this fight, and they're going to take out Serenia as well. Double kill going the way of Punk Pang. And what was just a 10,000 gold lead now is down to 7,000 gold and 6,000 experience.
Yeah, I had not even realized how much Sync had really started to run away with this game. A lot of that gold is the tower, so you know, MRR, if they really put their mind to it, now with these portal keys, get a couple tower kills, they can easily be right back into this game.
Yeah, Sibba down mid now, trying to find that initiation on Silhouette or Deadwood.
With his entire army of creeps here.
Yep, gonna use them for some counter warding though. Finds that ward there.
That looks
this
like a
is
fresh
huge
one
for them.
too.
Yeah. And the only vision that's up for MRR right now is very defensive and on their own defensive high hills.
Yeah, I don't think this thing's going to be showing up in the top lane for any time soon either. They're going to go bot tower initiation on a Legionnaire. Don't blink or you might miss it. As Legionnaire gets taken out. Supposed to be the team tank, but apparently Striders cannot protect you against the Kinesis control.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up top, Silhouette is pushing out that lane, uses her ultimate to be able to do the split pushing. Slap's gonna blink on her just to force her away from the creeps. You know, this is something that I love seeing from Sync, and they mostly do this when they're confident, where they don't necessarily only initiate if they can get kills, but they also go for heroes when it just forces them away from farm.
For the lulz.
Exactly. I mean, and not for the lulz, it just prevents Punk Pang from farming. It puts that fear factor into him. You're constantly blinking on him, and he's like, okay, I gotta swap out, and keeps him on his toes, right? Doesn't allow him to just free farm.
True. True that, and I mean, he is the hope of MRR right now. You know, it's getting a little bit better as Legionnaire maybe gets a little bit more farm. He can also do a lot of damage to Puppet Master, but
speaking of Puppet Master, he's actually going to get caught here by the Dead with minus to follow it up, and that's a kill on Haxor, and MRR showing signs of life in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you said, they won that one team fight, and they're definitely not far from making a comeback. I usually... Wow, Silhouette will get caught out here. So it looks like she's going to be able to portal key out. Credit for that kill going to Zlap, and he gets that much closer to most likely a sheep stick.
Yeah, so that play actually, it was a very high level series of events that happened there. So MRR, they're showing their carry up in the top lane while they're smoking down bottom, hinting that, you know, we're baiting the Punk Pang. And then as soon as they initiate bottom, Slap makes the call to run up top as Mika is showing in the middle lane. So Punk Pang is thinking, oh, we just killed bottom, they're sitting behind mid, since they weren't bottom. And then he decides to farm the top lane, and Slap instantly counterplays him. So the same mind game happening almost at the same time for both teams.
That's why your instincts can only take you so far in this game. And sometimes they let you down, but that's what the Shiver's for.
Yeah, most certainly. It enables you to make those safe plays, but both carries going down at the same time, so not much really changing for either side. Punk Pang is going for that Geometer's Bane, it looks like, with the quick blade picked up. So, split push build?
Yeah, I think you have to at this point. You know, if nothing else, it does buy you time. and that's really what Silhouette's best at. So
Yeah, Midas gonna find this Shiver up on the high ground where they had a ward of their own as Sync is posting here in the jungle. They're sending in the creeps with the ward here. Oh no, the bird is gonna be taken out, so he's not gonna be able to take out a ward on the high ground.
Yeah, there's no other way to grant that vision up there. I
Yeah,
swear.
look at that play.
Telekinetic lift.
That's actually pretty sick. He lifts the creep so that it gets high ground vision because it gets
Yep.
lifted above that cliff. I've never seen it be used
I
that
don't think
way.
I've seen that before either. Definitely clever. It's one of those moments where I wonder if this will work, and it does.
Yeah, Serenia gonna run up here and place a ward in the base, thinking that there's no vision here from MRR, but Leaf being so fast, just placing down another ward in the same spot on that high ground.
Oh wow, so they did see this ward go down. Yeah, Leaf's going to be able to counter that right away. It's one of those risky moments. If you actually manage to get that ward up, it's so powerful in sieging a base.
Yeah.
If you can do it unnoticed. There might be a team fight brewing here. Legionnaires going to come in with a taunt on a Kinesis. Kinesis instantly getting melted by the combination of Midas and Silhouette. The Piercing Charge doing a lot of damage, though. This
huge.
Arcane Vortex of Desperation buying a little bit of time for them to get out of here. And will we see more Certisma drop down onto Legionnaire, and the ultimate likely going to finish Legionnaire off. Almost want to see him just jump back into taunt, but opting to deny the experience instead.
Yeah, that was actually a huge ultimate from the Moira, and Haxner was actually hitting his ultimate there, and it dealt no damage during that entire time. And for some reason, I don't know why this happens, but when you pop out of the Moira ultimate, Puppet Show also stops working.
Huh. Maybe some type of crazy game mechanic, or the fact that you're going into another dimension that you're no longer puppet showed.
Yeah, meanwhile in the bottom lane, Dewey on the Silhouette gonna push out his lane, trying to get whatever farm he can. And this is something that I've always noticed with Punkpang. Even when his team is struggling and they're really far behind, he somehow manages to be on top of that GPM chart. Look at him.
Yeah, there he is. As up to 470 GPM, and you know, as Silhouette's got the ultimate ability, but aside from that, you know, no Alchemist Bones, no really other additional tools. Just good old-fashioned dedication.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen this happen before. At DreamHack, when we lost to his Dark Lady, it was kind of a similar story. His team was really far behind. They were almost 10,000 gold behind. I'd say in a very similar situation to where they're at right now, but Punkpang was farming. He was constantly farming. I think he even was behind in that game, but this game he's ahead of Haxner, and the top farmer on Sync is actually Slap. We've been talking about how selfless he's been during the event, and now...
Look at Silhouette up here. She does have to be a little bit careful. She almost was about to go into the creep wave and would have seen Lord Self-Force make something happen. He has a portal key on top of that tablet, and almost a sheep stick now, so she's got to be very careful.
Yeah, forced back into her own jungle, just farming out that small creep. Knows now that Slap is up there, and probably not alone considering how aggressively Slap was moving in. And this is something that...
Oh, she saw him, yeah.
Something that you notice a lot of high-level players do is they'll look at the player's movement and look at the signal that he's sending with how he's moving. So when Slap is running in like that, straight into the Silhouette, he's sending a signal that I got team support behind me. And
Self-Force's ult, is that the real Deadwood? It is the real Deadwood. He's actually going to go down there.
yeah, nice little pick off for Sync. They still have all their ultimates up except for the Undying, but that basically has no cooldown. So you see Make It here gonna use his Invis Rune, sprinting in towards the base, looking for any kind of pick off. Not gonna find it though.
I gotta say, it's been one thing. The Self-Force, like you said, it's been huge here. But if any of the teams are out there watching, I don't think you let Zlap get Self-Force again in the group stages.
No, I mean, I said this before the event. I'm just saying all my predictions have been so on point. I'm so good at this game. No, but for real,
well,
Self is a fantastic hero. He does so much damage and you can play him in so many different ways. We actually saw Slap himself go into the offlane with that hero. He's made a point so many times on stream that I do not play offlane. Any Slap subs in the chat out there can confirm. He does not like playing offlane. So when he's doing it, something's wrong, right? If Self-Force is so good that he can make Slap go offlane, what can't that hero do?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I've watched a lot of Sync today. And it seems like when I'm watching him, he's playing like this means so much to him. Like, he is constantly making plays on this hero, being the one to jump in there, get a kill when you least expect it. Punkpang is getting dangerously low here. He will get finished off. But yeah, I gotta think if you want to have any chance of beating Sink, you don't let Slap get his hands on the Lord South Forest going forward here. And,
Definitely not.
this game is by no means over, but I mean, Sink's making all the right plays here, one after another. Slap
They're just
comes up
playing
with
the
another kill.
resources at this point. They're abusing the fact that they're so
This
far ahead.
Andromeda swap, perfect timing on the Kinesis. They're gonna get the turn on dead, where they force a buyback out of Punk Pang here, with about 20 seconds till respawn, but they're looking to make a momentum shift here, not just defend their base. He gets a kill off out of Kinesis, Andromeda falls afterward, and that is another 2 kills. Wow, for the Legion side, I didn't even see those happen.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they conceded. I mean, if they conceded this game, MRR, that is. Yes, the Rax push is happening. You mentioned it before. They don't like giving up on games early, but this game is looking very grim. Sync seems to just have that momentum rolling in.
The passion is there. They want to win this.
Yeah, I mean, this is their 3rd LAN event, and at least for some of their players, playing it under the Sync tag, and you know, first time around, maybe overconfident, maybe the format, hey, who knows. Second time around, so close to doing it, just slightly overextending. And now it seems like this is their event, at least to me. From my point of view, it really looks like it.
Well, if they do win this match and they get to go on to face Complexity, I think that's something that they're happy about.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. Honestly, though, I feel like Sync versus Complexity, it's always a fun series to watch. As Legionnaires going to get initiated on Moira, misses her ultimate.
He's just riding the wave around, maybe hoping to get in a nice position to set up onto Midas. But yeah, I mean, they've got the tools now. Lord Salvador does complete that sheep stick. He's got enough gold to set up another item.
Yeah.
They're
TP
in
back
the
to base
groove
from
here.
Hacks. I feel like right now it's just region up, go push, or region up, go Kongor, go push. It's a LAN. You want to play it safe. Probably going to go for that Kongor kill first before they go pushing.
And I think this is a nice feeling for them too. It's almost like there was so little pressure on this game as you know, it's something you want to win. Initiation here on the Midas with the sheep stick. This is what I'm talking about. Slapped so aggressive here, and he's gonna get the kill off. He knows he did enough damage to Midas. And these guys, I mean, they're just enjoying this right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, Slaps. Is it Sunday today? I feel like Slap's doing a subscriber day on this stream. I'm pretty sure that's how he feels. Just playing with his subs, playing with his close friends, and just having the time of his life. They're so far ahead at this point. He's sitting at 490 GPM. Hacks, I mean, he's doing so good. He's on par with 1 million GPM Hackster.
Yeah.
The untaxable. The man with the robotic legs. He's keeping up with him, so he's definitely doing something right.
He's just going to post haste out of the Shivers. Somehow they found Silhouette here. Use that avalanche ability to lock down Sil. Plenty of time to break that null stone. But Nikkei wants more.
He's not done yet.
Silhouette
He's
could
in
buy
pursuit.
back and swap in, but I mean, why?
I don't think he wants to pop that second buyback yet.
No. I said, I mean, they don't really, losing a melee barracks doesn't mean it's the end of the game for them. So really, I think Punk Pang was just trying to turn something, get a huge 5-man kill, and you know, get his team back hyped up. But
just waiting for that farm at this point. They realize that there's really not much they can do about it. You just like gotta take those big risks when you're this far behind. It's the only way back into the game. Just like make something happen. And you know, Punk Pang realizing that it's better for me to go for that big play and try to turn this game around than really just play this passively and hope for the best. So he's taking big farm risks right now, trying to get that farm going, playing on his game sense, and that time Sync just read him and outplayed him. Kongor's now being taken out. I would not be surprised to see them just go straight up for the push trade afterwards.
yeah, and the itemization by Slap kind of tells me that too. He just like bought a Legion. It's more like, we're about to end the game. I've got 2,200. Let me just grab this here. I mean, obviously you could turn it into a heart later if you wanted, but that's what I'm thinking here. They just want to spend all their gold to go all in here and see if they can't give themselves #1 seed in the Group B.
Group B.
Group of B.
Too much Asian, man. Group B.
Yeah.
Adding some R's. But this game is definitely looking very grim as Sync is gonna go for this last push. I mean, okay, so if you're MRR, how do you play this team fight out? I feel like the best way for them to do it is they need to go for the Kinesis. If they can catch Kinesis somehow, they can make this fight happen. So they're gonna blink out and try to snipe out the Shiver. probably
forced
sacrifice
him
their
to
ultimate for
jump
it.
in here. Yeah, that was strange. I mean, I guess you could jump to Kinesis, but he's got, you know, Storm Spirit. You can't go for Puppet Master because token. I guess Kinesis is the only target, but it's not a great one.
Yeah, and they actually have 2 Storm Spirits here on the sync, so whoever they go for is not going to drop instantly. Man, I don't know. I feel like this fight is so impossible. Let's see if MRR knows better than we do. As the base tower is slowly dropping down.
Come to my side.
So a ward on the hill right here. Does this give them somewhat vision up onto the hill here? Into the base?
Don't think. I mean, it slightly does, just right behind the
Okay.
tower, but not really anything significant.
Makes you feel a little safer though.
Yeah, I mean, prevents them from getting cheesed. Moira is actually going to lose her Ephemeral Forge right away. This is really big.
Yeah, she's going to put herself in a very dangerous position if she wants to get off a nice Arcane Vortex. They are going to get the jump onto Kinesis, like you said, but Andromeda with a huge swap. Now the Arcane Vortex comes out, gets quite a few heroes in here, but Legionnaire is not in a position to get a nice taunt off. He's going to get instantly melted. Midas falling shortly after. Lord Self-Force now diving deep into the well. This is the victory they were looking for. Silhouette goes down here. No money for the buybacks. Deadwood is going to be Storm Spirited into the wall, and the GG well played are called.
Yeah, great game from Sync. I really feel like they just rode that early momentum throughout the entirety of the game, and they just played it really, really well. They played it very safe, and I'm honestly impressed with them. I feel like they're a team that really relies a lot on momentum, and they're starting to build it. I saw it at the start of the day. They were just slowly improving their gameplay as the day progressed, and in the end, I feel like they're looking on fire now. So what are your thoughts on the game, Breaky?
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, that was a great game and stuff. Great cast and everything, but mathematical, great cast there. It looks like you guys had some fun. So, game number 2, for me, it was one of those obvious moments of both teams knew that they were going on at that point.
Yeah, I
so
felt that
they
way.
were having fun with it. Really, I think is a part of it. But again, they were playing for the seeding, and so now we know how it's all going to shape up is what we got from that game there. And actually, I was going to come on to kind of talk about that here as we're going to be wrapping up the stream now with you guys for day number 1. So the brackets are officially set for day number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and they are as followed. Our first match will be Myth versus MRR, and that means match 2 will be Sync versus Complexity in both of those semifinal matches. And obviously the winners then moving on to the grand finals and a best of 5 to see who will be your World Finals champion. No matter what, we're getting a North American European team versus a Thai team in the grand finals. And I think it's just appropriate it works out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I was
So.
telling Matthew, I would have loved to see an EU versus NA grand finals because
Yeah.
it's fun for us, but I mean, this way it's really going to be like the best team from each region
Yeah.
is going to be represented in the grand finals.
Personally, I'm much happier it worked out this way. Like,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen so many of those, though, man. We've seen
But
so
it's
many
EU
of those.
versus NA, like
Yeah,
that's our
yeah,
our
true.
region's thing,
But
right?
we're in Thailand in San Diego.
True,
In case you didn't realize here with how hot it's now getting.
It's getting
As
really warm. Did they turn off the AC?
They turned the AC off. The venue's closing up here, as you can tell. Even behind us, the stage is pretty much starting to close down. We are, with that said, going to be wrapping up ourselves here as well for what is officially day number 1 here, the World Finals. So, Insania, it's been a good day here. Obviously, had hiccups, as LAN events do, but we did make it through in the end, and definitely got quality matches, which is, of course, the most important thing. And we gotta watch and cast some of those with you guys tuning in at home. So hopefully you guys had some fun with that. But again, we got our bracket stage set, and again, the only not upset, but a little bit of a surprise maybe is that D-Dog is part of the top 4. But again, we only 2 of those 3 teams were gonna make it out of that
Right,
Group B.
and
So
if any of
too.
those teams got knocked out, you'd feel like
exactly.
they didn't deserve it. But I mean,
Exactly.
such are the consequences of the format.
Yep.
Last year
That's how it
it
works.
was Sync.
Yeah.
This year it's D-Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have easily seen that team in the finals.
Oh, yeah. And they're not even top 4 in the end, so. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to officially wrap this up. Like I said, it's getting hot here. The button's coming undone. Before I start taking off more clothes, I think we better go ahead and cut
Are the
things
buttons
here.
coming undone?
Let's not do that right now. Later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, things just got awkward. Day number 1 officially wrapping up. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow for the World Finals 2016, which start at 9:30 a.m. local time. Figure out when that's for you guys. No, I have here. I have it real quickly. Let me pull it up real quickly for you guys. Yeah, this is probably better. Okay, so that's at there's a bug. It's a bug. 10:30 Eastern. 4:30 a.m. Central European Time, so it's 10:30 p.m. Eastern, so pretty much the night before, technically. 9:30 a.m. ICT for us. So that's what the first match is set to start of course, Myth versus MRR. And I believe us two are set to cast that, so looking forward to starting strong there.
Let's go, MRR.
Having some fun. All right, now we're wrapping up, so see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you then.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see